The last thing I remember was the cold vacuum of space, the jagged metal of the cargo ship tearing apart around me, and the deafening silence that followed. I had been a survivor by sheer luck, or perhaps some cruel twist of fate, but as I floated in the dark void, the nebulae outside my shattered viewport painting the universe in shades of violet and gold, I knew I was done. My body ached, every bone protesting as though time itself had betrayed me. And then nothing, a warm pressure, pulled me from the darkness. I opened my eyes to a light I could barely comprehend. It was not sunlight nor the faint glow of distant stars. It was something alive. Colors shifted in waves, folding into each other like liquid rainbows, illuminating a room that defied physics. I was no longer in the cargo hold of my doomed ship. The walls shimmered like the surface of the sun, but with a cold, crystalline clarity. I was in a palace, or perhaps a throne room, so immense it seemed to span the void itself. And at the center, she waited, the Star Queen. I couldn't take in her form all at once. Her skin shimmered with a soft blue hue, like a calm night sky lit by distant galaxies. Her hair flowed around her as if it were woven from stardust, and her eyes, oh, her eyes, burned with a light that could both scorch and soothe. They held a depth that made me feel simultaneously insignificant and profoundly seen. Before I could even try to stand, she reached for me. Her touch was gentle but commanding, and I felt my entire body respond as if I had been tethered to her presence. She held me close, and the warmth of her embrace seared through the coldness I had carried for what felt like eternity. "You should have died," she said, her voice a melody of both sorrow and fury. "Yet here you are. How?" I tried to speak, but no words came. My throat was dry, and my mind raced through memories I barely understood. I don't know," I stammered, finally finding a voice. I was in the cargo ship. It exploded. She shook her head, cutting me off. "Your survival was never meant to happen. The fates themselves whispered of your end. And yet, here you are alive in my presence. That alone is enough to make the cosmos tremble." I felt dizzy, overwhelmed. Every sense was assaulted by the grandeur of her throne room, the light, the hum of energy vibrating in the air, and her gaze, which seemed to pierce through not only my body but my very soul. "Why me?" I whispered. The Star Queen tilted her head, a smile both cruel and tender curving her lips. "Because, human, you were meant to witness what others could not. You were meant to survive, for a reason even I cannot yet comprehend." Chapter 2. The Throne of Stars. She led me, if that's what could be called, through the throne room, her presence guiding me effortlessly. The floor beneath my feet seemed to float, reflecting the constellations of countless worlds. Everywhere I looked, the walls shifted with cosmic energy, showing events I could not fully understand. Civilizations rising and falling, wars waged between stars, and creatures whose forms made my mind reel. "You see," she said, "this room contains the essence of everything that ever was, is, and will be. Time here is not linear. It bends, folds, and stretches. And now you are part of it." I shivered, my mind struggling to comprehend her words. "Why me? Why bring me here?" Her eyes softened. "Because the balance has been disturbed. A darkness moves through the outer rim of the galaxy, consuming worlds. You were chosen, whether by accident or fate, to witness it firsthand, and perhaps to stop it." "Stop it?" Me? I'm just a human, I said, incredulous. Do not underestimate yourself, she replied, voice now steady and commanding. The human spirit carries a force even the stars cannot ignore. But first, you must understand what has happened and why you survived your ship's destruction. She guided me to a balcony overlooking a massive void where planets and stars spun in a delicate dance. Energy streams, almost like rivers of light, flowed between them. As I watched, I realized this was no ordinary galaxy. It was alive. The Nabari Convergence, she said, a cosmic entity, older than the stars themselves, has awakened. It seeks to consume life across the galaxy, started with the outer colonies. You were aboard the ship because it carried information vital to its defeat, and yet you alone survived its destruction. I felt a weight on my chest, the enormity of her words settling in. And you, why are you here? Why save me? I am the Star Queen, she said, her tone almost reverent. Protector of the balance. When the convergence awakens, even I cannot contain it alone. I needed a witness. I needed someone whose mortality could anchor hope in a universe unraveling. Her hand pressed against mine, and I felt a surge of energy flow through me, as though she had just infused me with a piece of her power. My vision blurred, stars spinning as I realized something terrifying. I could feel the pull of the convergence, a hunger that stretched across light years. You feel it, don't you? She whispered. The void calls to you as it calls to me. If we fail, all will be lost. Finally, the day came. The convergence had reached the outer rim, consuming colonies faster than any fleet could intercept. The Star Queen led me to a platform that floated among the stars, where the edge of the void itself shimmered with hungry darkness. You must act now, she said. The threads of fate are taut, and every second counts. I raised my hands, feeling the energy she had taught me to harness. Starlight flowed through my veins, bending to my will, coalescing into a radiant spear. The void responded immediately, a tendril of shadow reaching for me, testing my resolve. Do not hesitate, she urged. Do not falter. I thrust the spear forward, and the darkness recoiled, shrieking in a soundless roar that reverberated through my bones. Energy met shadow in a blinding clash, and I felt every world in the outer rim shudder. Then a scream unlike any other filled the void. The convergence twisted, writhing, and I realized it could sense me, not just as an opponent, but as a threat to its very existence. Fear gripped me. I was only human. I should have died. And then I felt her hand on my back, steady and warm. Her eyes met mine, and for the first time I felt not fear but certainty. You are not meant to die, she whispered. You are meant to survive. Drawing from her presence, I pushed further, driving the energy of 1,000 stars into a single point. The convergence shrieked and fractured, scattering into tendrils of shadow that dissipated into the cosmic winds. The void grew still. I collapsed on the platform, exhausted, trembling. She caught me immediately, holding me close. You survived, she murmured. When all should have perished, you endured. You are extraordinary. Chapter 5. The Queen's Confession. I looked up at her, still trembling, still overwhelmed by what had just occurred. Why me? Why did you choose to save me, guide me, and put this weight upon my shoulders? She hesitated, her gaze distant. Because Human, you were never meant to be ordinary. The universe chooses its champions carefully, even among mortals. And because I saw in you something rare, hope, the convergence feeds on despair. And you carried hope within you. She drew me closer, her forehead resting against mine. I held you close the moment you awoke, because I feared what I might lose if you fell. You should have died, and yet you did not. That is why I am here. That is why I am yours to command in this moment, not as a queen, but as one who bears witness to your courage. I swallowed hard, words failing me again. Finally, I said, I don't know what to say. Then say nothing, she whispered. Let the stars bear witness. Let the universe remember that even in the darkest night, life, courage, and hope endure. You are alive. That is enough. Chapter 6. A New Dawn Among the Stars. The celestial throne room had returned to a quiet shimmer. The chaos of the convergence dissipated into the infinite tapestry of the cosmos. I was still weak, still trembling, yet unshakably alive. The Star Queen held me close one last time, her hands warm and grounding. Rest now, she said. Tomorrow, the universe will move again, and we must be ready. But tonight, you have survived. I closed my eyes, letting the hum of energy in the throne room lull me into a fragile peace. When I opened them again, the stars outside sparkled brighter than ever, and for the first time since the accident that nearly killed me, I felt a true sense of belonging. Somewhere between mortality and divinity, between human fragility and cosmic duty, I had found a place, and it was here in her arms, in the heart of the stars, alive against all odds. You should have died, she whispered once more, a ghost of a smile playing on her lips. And yet you did not. That is your power. Human, that is your gift. Never forget it. And I knew I never would.